Got it. Yeah, click on that. All righty. Thank you, Chief. I'd like to call to order the Katuitt Fire District Board of Fire Commissioners meeting held on December 20th, 2022 at 17:30. Commissioners present, Commissioner Conley,
Commissioner Pisano,
Commissioner Zace.
and we have Chief Brown in attendance as well. Correct, sir?
Yes, sir. Chief Brown is here.
Okay. Let's see. We're recording this meeting, so we do not have to know if there's anybody that's recording, so we're good there. Chief, do we have, so calling the meeting to order, Chief, do we have any public comment?
No, sir. I have not received any emails in regards to the meeting, and there is nothing in the chat.
Okay. With that, minutes, has everybody had the opportunity to take a look at the minutes?
yeah, there are a couple of things that needed correction.
Okay, do
And
share.
I'm trying to be a little clearer than I sometimes am about where it is. Under,
To that point, Rick, would you like to share your screen and show it, or is that what your thought process was previously?
no, I'm reading down the minutes to try to figure out where. Oh, training on the loader. Where is that?
Training on the loader. Do you mean the lift for the ambulance?
Yeah. There. Chief, can you look at the,
Yeah, it's under apparatus and equipment. It looks like
there it is. I hadn't gone down far enough. The second item under apparatus and equipment, it says the plow load has been installed in 262. Isn't that supposed to be the power load? Chief, you're muted now.
Yeah. Good catch.
Yes, that is correct. It is supposed to be power load.
In the answer that you provided in that same item, it says all groups have been trained on the pile load, which I expect should also be the power loader.
Yes, you're absolutely
A
right.
wild guess on my part, but
Go figure.
Yep. You're very perceptive. You're almost ready to be an EMT, picking that much
oh
up.
God, help me.
EMS equipment. So
In the next item under facilities, do we really have a primal vent duct?
that would be Plymo then. And that's state of the art.
Okay.
Okay, Rick, anything else in there?
Yeah, there was a question about the IT.
under technology.
Yeah, I'm scrolling back up to find it. Technology, there we go. Other vendors' proposals were reviewed as well. One vendor's proposal had a lot of hardware updates that are not immediately.
Yep, see it.
The case when good enough isn't.
You're muted.
I'll just leave myself off mute, I guess. Yeah, so I'll have to go back to the tapes and I'll have her edit that. But essentially that was that they're not immediately needed. It's more of a long-term capital planning issue. So
I recall that conversation.
I thought I remembered that that was the line, but
yeah,
figured I'd ask.
yep.
Otherwise, I'm good with the minutes.
Very good. I will have those items addressed and pending your vote, I'll make those 3 changes and post them.
Okay, so
Website.
with that, do we have any motions?
Motion to accept the minutes as intended to be amended.
All right,
Second,
in favor?
aye.
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 Unanimous, Chief, you're good to go with those. Thank you.
Very good.
Okay. Let's see, review and approval of freedom minutes, fire chief's report. Chief, you have the floor.
Sir, thank you. So starting with the responses, November had a total of 71 responses to structural fire responses, 50 EMS, 1 hazardous condition, 2 service calls, 7 good intent, 9 false alarms. Any questions under the responses?
Were the 2 fires here in the district or were they mutual aid?
Believe one was one was the Mills, Osterville, I believe, and then one was in the district. So I think the one was I'll have to go back and find that out. They might have been both mutual aid. I don't remember if the one in the district was in November or
And
October.
a follow-up,
Yep.
all souls healthy and safe and all that?
Yeah, no, none of our personnel had any issues in their responses. So,
Thanks.
under administration, I had applied for a grant for a repeater system to be installed in engine 265, and we were awarded that grant, and be working with Lieutenant Amento, who's doing most of the communications equipment coordination on getting that purchased, installed, and all of that. Katuitt was chosen in the next round of Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, also known as CMS, for the ground ambulance data collection system. You may recall during the interview process, I referenced this, that we knew our number would get called eventually because everybody that takes money from CMS is going to have to participate in this study. It's going to be a pretty significant lift to get all the data that they're looking for. We'll be working with our EMS billing company as well as with firefighter Staggs, our EMS officer, to try to boil down a true cost of what it takes to deliver EMS services. And this is kind of born out of those contractual allowances that Medicare and Medicaid have for those patients that we transport that have those types of insurances, and it's fractions of the true cost of delivering services. So this is a national endeavor, and again, like I said, it's a fairly heavy lift. I have some experience with it, and we'll be working through that starting soon.
Chief, can I thank you for that? That's good insight and good info. Can I ask you a quick question on kind of off topic, but related to this meeting? When people come in, if somebody has joined and is in the waiting room now, will you be notified of that? And do we let them in immediately?
Yes, I see the waiting room
Okay,
and there is nobody in there.
Okay.
It doesn't make a sound or anything, but it does pop right up here on my screen, and then I'll let them in. So
okay. I apologize for interrupting you on that. Typically, I have not seen the waiting room have to be let in. In other Zooms I've been on, I know we do it, but I just was kind of curious as we were going to make sure that you do get actually actively notified on that. So thank you.
yeah. So yeah, it would be good if there's a way to make a sound, but in the absence of that, or my inability to make a sound, I keep it open on the side of my screen. So
Okay, thank you.
no problem. And then also something that I didn't put on the list, I have been continuing to participate in a regional emergency communications study committee that is looking at the feasibility of a shared resource for dispatch, and all the 5 fire districts are involved in that, as well as Yarmouth Fire Department, Sandwich Fire Department, and the police departments from Yarmouth, Sandwich, and Barnstable. So, and the most recent meeting was today, which is it's something that is, I think, worthy of additional exploration and being part of that conversation. So,
Great.
and that is all I have under administration at the moment. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay. The technology, we did sign a contract with Secure Networks. We're going through the onboarding process. Again, I express my appreciation to Firefighter Emerson with his assistance and support with this project. And this is, I think, the start of really modernizing some of our systems and processes here. And this is like the first, a fairly significant step in that direction. So that is, that's all that's new under technology. If there are any questions there. Okay. Personnel, positive citizen comments. We did receive a thank you letter from the Santuit Civic Association in regards thanking us for the support and help that the fire department provided with Christmas in Katuitt. We've also received a number of donations in the memory of Pauline Skingsley that were provided to the department at her request. The late Pauline Skingsley in her obituary. We did some training in Mashpee that I'd mentioned that we're getting ready to do that in the last meeting. We went over there to do some hands-on roll-in drills, stretch and hose lines, search and size up, and some really reinforcing some bread and butter operations with some of our personnel, as well as that coordination with our mutual aid partners. We had the forcible entry prop here from the Barnstable County Fire Training Group. It spent it spent a few days here, and that was coordinated by firefighter McPherson, and the vast majority of our personnel got opportunity to go through that, and then we'll be having it back again to get the 2 personnel that were unable to participate in the training. Personnel assisted with Christmas in Katuitt. We had the chili at the firehouse, which was very well received by the community, as well as a lot of the personnel here from the fire department that chipped in to make that happen. I think everybody's really excited to just have those opportunities again. And after a couple of years of not having it after COVID. So again, very, very successful, very, very great opportunity to connect with the community. And then, of course, we supported Santa with the delivery of Santa via the fireboat to the Christmas tree lighting. So really a great weekend, great time. Some adjustments that had to be made due to weather, but everybody stepped right up, adjusted their schedules as needed, and made sure that everything happened. So my appreciation to all of our folks that pitched in with that. Our older adult community outreach continues. Firefighter Williamson, Gardner, and Lee have been working on a project that would like to roll out early next year. More details to come on that essentially, but it's a call-in service for folks in the community. And then Lieutenant Clark and his crew have also been interacting with some of our community members that have had losses in their family, and just kind of supporting them through these periods of time when they're adjusting to kind of a new norm for their life. So my appreciation to all those individuals that have been really stepping up and doing some just really compassionate, really great things. Again, it's just one of those really neat things about being part of this district format and in a village like Katuitt, that you get this close contact with the community. So Lieutenant Lyons continues to interact with the younger children's groups. Again, his coaching background I've mentioned in the past, he just really connects with kids, and they really enjoy when he has an opportunity to read. So he does some reading with some of the younger groups. He was over at the YMCA just today. So that's been a really positive thing that he's been doing. The guys also went around and took down the flags from Main Street, and we'll be working with the Civic Association, or the Historical Society rather, to get the new flags to put up next year. They took kind of a beating this year. So that's it under personnel at the.
Chief?
Yes, sir.
Under personnel, is there any further update about finishing the second half of the lieutenant's exam?
I have some vendors that I've spoken to some of our neighboring departments to get some references on some vendors to do the practical portion yet, but we have not secured the vendor yet. So using a vendor is a new thing for me. I've not it's not a format that I've done in the past. We've usually used neighboring response partners and things of that nature that I've done. And the vendor format seems to be more common down in this area. So those are the options that I've been exploring. So any other questions on that?
Just keep us posted.
Yes, sir. Will do.
Thank you.
Yep. A couple things, if you would.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate, all the insight you provided here. So question for you on the donations that you referenced. Do they go back into the general fund, or do they go into the fire department's fund?
My understanding is those will go back to the fire department, and because they were made out specifically to the fire department. So
Okay.
at the request of the late Mrs. Skingsley.
Okay, great. Thank you for that information. With regards to Christmas in Katuitt, I spent a little bit of time with you all at the station that day. First of all, the chili was phenomenal. I even had the vegetarian chili. I'll go on record saying I thought that was very good as well. So it was a good day. And I wanted to thank you and the department and all the guys that were there. It was a great time. You had a lot, I walked in and I was blown away with the amount of people that were there. It was great. There were kids running everywhere. People were having a good time, and you guys are doing a great job. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Okay. With regards to the older adult community outreach, perhaps I know you said some things are going to get rolled out next year, or they're in the process of rolling some things out, and you also referenced two different sets of programs relative to that, as far as I see it, right? One is the outreach, and one is also, working with people that may have had a loss recently. And I think that's great. I commend the people involved. I would ask, and if the other commissioners agree, I would like to, if possible, have the gentlemen that are involved in those programs come on one of the meetings and take us through what they're doing and what the plan is. I think it's phenomenal stuff, and I'd like to really hear from them what they're doing and how they're rolling things out. Is that a reasonable request? And guys, you agree?
Yeah, I'd be I'd be thrilled to hear more from him.
Okay, Chief.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I'll make a point to have them on in January.
Yeah, that'd be phenomenal. Yeah, we're gonna have to push January a little bit, but yeah, we have to talk about January, guys. I'll be out of town. We'll talk about that, though. We'll get it set up, but yeah, that'd be fantastic. I just remember you said January, so thank you for that.
Okay.
And then, story time with, Lieutenant Lyons. Do me a favor, pass on our appreciation. That's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Kevin, you don't want Lieutenant Lyons to come read a story during?
Lieutenant Lyons can read a story anytime. That's all goodness.
Bring in my blankie.
I'll see, I'll check his availability.
Excellent. Okay, thank you, Chief. The floor is back to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, moving on to apparatus and equipment. So engine 263, it is up at the vendor still. They're about to $7,000 into it, just to kind of get it to where it was running. They had to they had to find a piece that's not produced any longer. They found it in California, I believe on eBay, but don't hold me to that. And they had it shipped out to the East Coast, then had to send it back to California, get it programmed, reprogrammed correctly, then back to the East Coast. It's in the truck, so the truck is running now. And then they sent us a itemized list of the things that are broken and need to be repaired on it. And it's just a little north of $30,000, around $32,000 of repairs that need to be done on that piece of apparatus. The some of our mechanically inclined personnel sat down with the list. Lieutenant McNamara and firefighter Melanson, and they believe that they can do some of that work in-house, and they can probably save the district around $10,000 by doing some of that work, and it's work that's within their scope of experience and training, and not anything that is the brakes and the pumps and the things of that nature that EVOC needs to do. So they started the necessary repairs to the tune of around $20,000 additional work on that apparatus, and we will be going over that line in our budget, but we found, I mean, it's really robbing Peter to pay Paul here, but we found areas that we can underspend to make these repairs happen. That particular vehicle is in the CIP for FY25, and so best case scenario is it's something that we would order a replacement July of 24. And then we're talking similar to the ambulance situation, supply chain issues and whatnot. It's likely a 2-year build out. So now we're looking at spring of calendar year 26 before we could actually see that. So it's money well spent to get this vehicle through the next few years and operating safely.
So Chief, based on the timeline, I'm going to kind of hop in here for a second. Based on the timeline you referenced with availability, do we really need to look at bringing ahead 1 year the order?
I mean, that's certainly a discussion that we can entertain as we build out the capital projects of the future. I think the breaker was in for FY24 replacement. I have made it known, I believe, that the breaker is probably best utilized by another agency and not probably something that we we'll need to invest replacement funds in. And you know, there'll be more to come on that before, obviously, before there's any final decisions made. But you know, there's some significant capital expenses, and that the engine is definitely one of them. And where we want to plug that into the capital horizon is a conversation. And as we get it down into the facilities, we're also going to have a conversation on how much money and do we want to continue to put into the firehouse. So so I guess to your point, I mean, yeah, it's when we get down into really the granularity of formulating FY24's budget and beyond, as well as our capital horizon, that should definitely be part of the conversation.
Right, so I did want to bring it up for the benefit of the commissioners on here, as well as for the record, because I do think it's something that we need to really start thinking about. We're not going to solve it right now, but we need to start thinking about it as we go forward, as you say, for 24.
Yeah, and although not on here, we are still waiting. I was in contact just today, reached out just today to the ambulance vendor on when they're going to release those Ford chassis. We're in line for one, but they're still not available. All right, let's see. All right, any other questions, comments under engine 263?
No.
Okay. All right.
I guess I would say, first of all, thank you for your ingenuity in moving and looking at some options for us to get the amount that we need to get this done, and also thanks to the crew that's going to be doing the work on it. So you guys go above and beyond on a regular basis, and you know, we don't say it enough, but we truly appreciate, you know, everything they do. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, and I appreciate you recognizing that, because I am constantly impressed here by what how often the guys step up and they're like, yeah, we can do that. And it just really is. It's impressive. It really is. So,
Well, I do have a question to follow on. Did I understand you to say that the work that firefighter Melitson and I think it was Lieutenant McNamara are going to do is going to enable us to save $20,000?
no, but it was 10,000, around 10,000. I mean, they're still going to have to order
It'll
parts.
bring the cost of the repairs down to about 20.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. And please pass along mine, you know, hearty thanks to those guys as well. And, you know, a great thinking outside the box.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I will certainly pass it along. So, 266, the Marine unit has been pulled for the season. It was over to Bosun's and will be picked up tomorrow morning, I believe. It's been winterized, and that was coordinated by firefighter Williamson, who's been spearheading the Marine program with support from Lieutenant McNamara. We got a command box for 269, the deputy vehicle, and Lieutenant Clark coordinated with Joint Base to get that picked up. And we got one as well for the new vehicle, and that we're going to try to retro that and make it work, because the one that has been ordered is not even sure where or when that may or may not come in. So this one might be an option for us and save some money. So, but the one there is one that we got that he got over there at Joint Base for us at no cost, that fits right into one of the vehicles. And I think it's a good way to operate at larger incidents, is having that command box. So this is once it's all fully installed and the radios are remounted onto it, I think it's going to be a good addition to the department. So and that is what I have under apparatus and equipment.
Okay, under equipment, did we finally get the radio chargers?
No, nope, still on back order. Yeah. So, yep. Mm, let's see. Facilities. The air compressor had a failure the other day, overheated, and the again, once again, to their credit, the guys stepped right up and they tried to repair it in-house, but we were unsuccessful. We did have a vendor come in, and I do not have a cost on that yet, but that runs the Plimo vent as well as any of the air that keeps up any of the vehicles that need to get plugged in. So that is back online, and unknown amount on that. Front steps. The front steps of, for anybody that's been by the firehouse, you may notice that they're not there anymore. We had one of the risers, one of the treads fall off, and then when Lieutenant McNamara went to repair it, he found that the stringers were rotted out, as well as the hangers for the stringers were corroded. So we just ended up removing the stairs and putting up a safety barrier. And during that time, we inspected the ramp, which is also found to have significant rot and corrosion. Lieutenant McNamara secured the ramp and made it safe for a while, and is in the process. He's reached out to 3 vendors to get quotes, but I do think it's going to be a fairly significant cost, because once we touch that ramp, I mean, it's going to have to be an ADA compliant ramp, and I suspect there's going to have to be engineered drawings and the whole 9 yards. So I do think it's going to be I don't have any idea how to estimate that. I don't have that ability, but I sense that it's probably going to be a significant cost. So more to come on that.
Right. I have a question, but it just, we don't, I'll stop by and we could talk about it, sidebar.
Okay, all right. So I guess, and then I'll just tie that back into our early conversation on the capital horizon of when do we, when do we look at a newer facility versus where do we want to plug that into our capital horizon? I think that has to be a serious conversation, and versus putting additional funding into here, and then specing a new fire engine that fits inside this fire station as well, which generally the stock fire engines aren't going to fit in here. We have to do things to make them fit into this station. So it's all these topics are intertwined. So as much as you think a ramp and a fire engine are not, it really is all part of that bigger picture. So and then on a happier note on facilities, we'll close on that. Thank you to Lieutenant Clark's group for making the firehouse look so good in the evenings when the lights are on. So if you haven't taken a drive by the firehouse at night, do so if you would like, and check out Santa glowing greatly on the roof, as well as the lights that they put up. So my thanks to them.
Thank you, Lieutenant. We appreciate that, and I will definitely swing by and take a look at it.
And then that's mostly it. I do just have a little note on here that we're monitoring the progress of an incoming storm Thursday through Saturday morning, followed by some cold temperatures. So there is the possibility of extended power outages with cold weather right on the heels. So we are monitoring that, and we'll adjust our operations accordingly. And that is all I have under my report. Pending any questions.
Nope.
We appreciate that. Thank you. Hey,
Yeah.
Chief, you made me think about something in the past when you mentioned the storm. In the past, we've made some attempt And I did a quick look over here. Looks like this is more rain and wind than it is actually snow. But thanks for the heads up on that. So the question is this: in the past, we've attempted to interact, and we have, I think, successfully a few times interacted with the DPW with regards to storms, pre-positioning equipment, or having people at the station. I think we had one storm not too long ago that I think some DPW guys spent the night at the station, right?
Yep, that's my understanding. It was before my time, but yes.
Right. So I guess my bottom line question is, have you engaged in any of those conversations with the DPW with regards to the upcoming season and whether or not you've had any success in getting some work done with them or some plans in place with them?
No, not specifically. I've been at the REPC meetings, so we've been, been in touch with all of the players and, if you will, stakeholders in the emergency management arena for the Cape and for this region, but not specifically to having a DPW assets or resources here. But certainly-
DPW is represented in that group, aren't they?
yeah, yep,
Hmm.
yeah.
So traditionally, it's, we've had some trouble. It is my understanding that we've had some trouble in Katuitt getting some assets here in the event of a large, event. So, we can talk about this as a separate conversation as appropriate, but I would ask that you think about, talking with them and asking if there's a way we can think about pre-positioning equipment near us in the event of a major event, so that we are better positioned to recover more quickly. Is that a reasonable
Yep.
Conversation?
Yeah, no, I certainly think it is, and it's certainly part of that relationship building that should be happening here.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yep.
And are you good, Chief? Anything else on your mind for now? I guess you have facilities right now, right?
Yeah, that was the last thing on facilities, and then I just so I was done with facilities. I just wanted to give a quick update on that we're monitoring that potential weather, and that is the end of my report.
Okay, old business. I believe the only subcommittee we have. I'm going to put the spotlight on Mr. Zace. Mr. Zace, Commissioner Zace, do we have an update on that? On the school?
There is no further update that I am aware of.
Okay, well, that's disappointing. It's not disappointment, not in your direction, sir, just as
Well,
a
no,
general.
but to restate what I said, it does appear that while moving very slowly, that there is some movement going forward. There's some, I think anything that becomes more substantive or more, if you will, shows more momentum, will be seen in the new year.
Okay,
Although don't expect it in the first week of January.
I hear what you're saying. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
New business. Gentlemen, do we have any new business?
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to insert something in old business.
Oh, my apologies, sir. Yes, old business. What would you like to insert?
In a prior meeting, we had discussed the possibility of grant money that might be coming back to Katuitt, whether or not it could be incorporated into the fire department budget. And I said I would follow up on that. And after some exchanges with Ray, I have to report that it really seems to be a rather insurmountable block to have that happen, that any of that monies will go into the general fund. But I would remind my fellow commissioners and the chief that, particularly facing some of these unexpected costs that are accumulating that look to skew our budget, if we can't make it right with things like the grant money, I think that we have to be easily able to call a special district meeting, even if it were simply to get approval to realign monies from the wages and salaries category, where we do have potentially extra monies available, and redirected into operations to cover overages. We have monies for line of duty injury that fortunately so far this year we have not had to tap. And if that continues, it would be a potential source to take to a special district meeting to get a warrant to reassign that to a category, so that we're not asking the district for new money,
Right.
but rather permission to redirect money already authorized. So I just wanted to give you an update on where that stood after my exchanges with Ray. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that on a couple things. So first of all, thanks for looking into that. That's good info. I do think if we have the ability, and I have to believe we do, we should be tracking that grant money, what the dollar amount is, what is going back into the general fund, so that while we cannot put it directly into the fire department's fund, we can call it out in the event we have a district meeting, as an example, and point out the fact that those funds have come back into the general fund. Personally, I think that's good information for us to share. So that's number one. Number two, with regards to the potential for a call for at a meeting, district meeting. Great point. Really appreciate it. I think that's something we need to keep in our mind, keep in our sight. And as we come into 2023, as it would be, right, we need to make sure that we're tracking appropriately, so we schedule appropriately. So thank you.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so thank you for that old business recap. And I should ask, does anybody else have any other old business that I missed?
No.
Okay, new business. What do we have for new business, gentlemen?
I have nothing.
No, I think that with ongoing contract negotiations, the relevant new business will be addressed in executive session.
Right, I agree. And to that point, though, it's good that that's on the record, that negotiations are continuing, and we will be having some discussions in the executive session tonight. So thank you for bringing that up. Chief, did you have any new business? I'll put you on the spot for a second.
No, sir. Do not have anything new that has not been addressed in my report earlier.
Okay, great. Chief, do we have any public comment out there that we have not seen? We've
There
not.
are no emails, and there is nothing in the chat.
Okay, nothing else? Is there anything else? Is there anything else that we should be discussing? Because our next step will be to go into executive session. Anything else that we need to bring up on this open meeting, gentlemen?
Not that springs to mind.
Okay, if that's the case, under purpose 3, going to request that we go into executive session under purpose 3 to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation. If an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body, and the chair so declares, bargaining unit local 3642, the committee will not return to open session. Do I have any motions?
We're going to executive session.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are now in executive session.